Remember that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry is sleeping in Kramer's apartment because of the Kenny Rogers chicken restaurant opened up, and the red neon light will not allow Kramer to sleep?
Oh, right, yeah.
And so Jerry walks into what is his apartment, but Kramer's living there, and he says, "Yeah, I'm on no sleep." And he's got his shaking like Kramer does. That's how I am today. My dogs. So this like family of deer come into my backyard in the middle of the night. I'm talking like sometime between 1 and 3 a.m. for the past week. And my dogs are asleep, but they can sense this somehow. Like their super doggy sense goes off, and then they freak out. They go crazy. Like the first night it happened, I thought for sure someone had finally arrived at my home to kill me in my sleep. And it turns out it's just this family of deer that they're eating something in the yard. I can't figure out what it is, but that must be why they're returning every night.
Well, check this out. So a couple days ago, my in the master bedroom, there is a closet, and the light turns on by sensor. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could see that the light in the closet was on.
Oh, so you've been asleep, and now you wake up and the light is already on, waiting for you
in the closet.
Something's in there.
Yeah,
something lives in there.
I thought, oh great, now I got to open this up and figure this out. I mean, it's never happened before, but it actually didn't freak me. I was so tired that I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to bed.
I've done that too. When I was younger, I used to like get up and investigate things. Now I'm just like, maybe it's my time.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Speaking of time,
hopefully it is.
It's Christmas time.
Mm-hmm. Or Kwanzaa time, or Hanukkah time.
It's holiday time.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted to do a special holiday episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is good, because I think it will prove to myself once and for all that we can talk for a long time about absolutely nothing.
So this episode is about self-exploration.
AKA masturbation. So, we wanted to do a countdown list, and so we figured we'd do a top 5 Christmas song.
Yes.
List, right?
Yes, not holiday songs, Christmas songs. And I say it that way because of this.
Mm-hmm.
I had one song that would be in my top 5 if we were doing just holiday songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't make it in because it's not a Christmas song.
Okay, I think I have to rework my list then.
Uh-oh. I think do you know the one I'm talking about? Well, let's not get into that. Okay. So, for me, top 5, here's my number 5, all right?
Number 5.
In 1980, this song peaked at number 6 on the UK singles chart. Wonderful Christmas Time by the great Paul McCartney.
Oh my God, it's the worst song. You want to sing it for us?
No.
It's like the cheesiest, the time is right.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like, simply having wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, and it's got that weird like synthesizer part where
it's so cheesy.
The first time you hear that synthesizer part, you think this has got to be a mistake. It's got to be an accident. Nobody chose to write this, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I think it's the song for me that I typically hear in the grocery store or when I'm out Christmas shopping, like on the store music. And so I think that's why it won't leave me alone. I think it's a fantastic song. It puts me in a great mood every time. And listen to this. This is according to Wikipedia, so who knows what this means. It's estimated that Paul makes $400,000 a year from this song.
Oh my God.
Can that be right? Is that, I mean, I know.
Well, look, we're seeing a resurgence of this, if you haven't noticed. Sia.
Mm-hmm.
She put out a Christmas record with all new Christmas songs she wrote.
Okay, so she's not doing the classics.
No.
Sia has come up with her own songs.
And then I think Gwen Stefani has done some new songs plus some old songs, and you're seeing this. Normally it used to be, I saw a great interview one time with Harry Connick Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And they they basically forced him to make a Christmas record. And he was like, I've already made Christmas records. Then they made me make another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was going on these talk shows to promote it, and he was not happy. So he was so mad about it that it made the interviews great. But that's what it used to be. Let's take the jazz guy and make him do a Christmas record, and take, like a Michael Bolton and make him do a Christmas record. But now it's these big pop stars that are doing Christmas songs again, kind of like they did in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and I think the typical formula, or the formula that I'm used to seeing the most, is where you'll have like a great artist will do a Christmas album, but it's all classics except for like one song that they came up with.
Mm-hmm.
They put out their own original, and then it's like 10 others, 12 others that you've heard a bazillion times by many different people.
Yeah, I believe the Sia record is all, which I think came out last year. Now you're hearing it everywhere in commercials and everything. So I bet she's going to make $1 million, couple mil off of licensing.
I hope so. I like the
yeah.
Sia. I don't want Sia to go away.
I like the Sia too. So that's your awful pick for number 5.
Yeah, but a lot of thought went into working that one into the top 5.
Mine is, I'm not going to say this wrong, Metalikimaka.
Oh, everybody knows what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to say it, except for
Metalikimaka is the thing
except
to
for
say.
some wonderful Hawaiian people. They know how to say it.
Yeah, it's what you say. Yeah, I for whatever reason, Christmas Vacation, I just love that movie. And it makes more sense as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, it was somewhat funny. But now as I get older, it's just like it cracks me up in a whole different way. And the scene where he's looking out at the pool and the girl's taking off her top.
He's
and that
going to
song
buy a
comes
pool
on.
for the family with his Christmas bonus.
It's such a great song. And that's my number 5, which totally beats your number 5.
It does. I'll give you that. I like the part. My favorite scene is when he goes outside. Clark Griswold goes outside, and he's firing up the chainsaw because he's got that giant Christmas tree still strapped to the Griswold family car. And the neighbors, it's the husband and wife, and the husband says to him, "Where are you going to put that, Griswold?" And he goes, "Bend over and I'll show you." And then the husband goes, "You can't talk to me that way." He goes, "I wasn't talking to you."
Yeah, that's how I want to be with my neighbors. It's just I say whatever I want to say.
That is my movie that I put on in the background when I'm putting up Christmas decorations.
Well, what I love is a handful of years back, they started playing the Christmas Story, right? The Christmas Story 24/7 on some channel. And then what happened was like TBS or whoever was like, this is a great idea. Let's pick our own movie. So they'll play The Grinch Stole Christmas all day long, 24 hours. And then somebody plays Christmas Vacation. And I think you're going to see that grow every year because there's so many good, you could do some of those old claymation movies all 24 hours. But I just remember the first year that I really started liking that movie again, Christmas Vacation. And every place I went to, I'd turn it on so it was in the background. So when kids are yelling or your dad is saying something silly that doesn't make any sense, you can just kind of tune out and start watching that movie.
So my number 4, Captain, is, and this is kind of fitting because we were talking about people, artists redoing Christmas classics. This one I love. It's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Michael Bublé.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bublé star.
Yeah. Michael Bubble.
Yeah. Well, I like him. Good voice. Yeah, some good songs. Well, this is where we get weird with my list because I had the Hanukkah song, but you said it was a Christmas, so
no. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up though because I wanted to put Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song on my list so badly, but then I was like, wait a second. We said we were doing a Christmas song list, and that very clearly is a Hanukkah song. It's titled The Hanukkah Song. Yeah,
but it kind of talks about the differences, right? I don't know.
I love that song.
Yeah, look, here's my argument. When they do the Christmas special for Saturday Night Live,
Mm-hmm.
they always play the rerun of Adam Sandler singing the song. So that'd be my argument to say it is a Christmas song because it ends up on the Christmas edition of Saturday Night Live every year.
Every year. And actually, that's the way that I fell in love with the Michael Bublé Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. He was on Saturday Night Live one year right before Christmas and nailed it. Like just knocked it out of the park. And I was like, all right, that's a good song. That's a good way to bring back a classic.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, we're going to allow it. We're going to allow my Hanukkah song.
We will allow it 100%.
All right, good. All right, let's go to number 3.
Number 3, I have Christmas All Over Again by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, baby, it's Christmas all over again. If I had a little bourbon, I'd sing the whole song.
Did he write it?
I'm guessing that he did. I don't know that I've ever heard any other version. And it's a very it's a very rock and roll song, and it's very Tom Petty. So I would be shocked if somebody else wrote it. It was also in that speaking of movies, I believe it was played a lot during that Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn.
Oh yeah, that's a very good Christmas classic.
Mm-hmm.
One I like to watch every year. I love when the baby pukes, and then he's like, "Get it away from me! I'm going to puke."
I love when he's acting, when he's in the movie.
Yeah.
If for those of you who've not seen it, people are going, "Yeah, he's acting the whole time, Nick." It's a movie, but there's a play in the movie, and he turns it on.
Christmas play, and
Yeah.
he takes it a little too far, takes it a little too serious. That's a good one. My mother likes that movie a lot. She'll start watching that on repeat as it comes closer to Christmas. Okay, so where are we at? Number 3?
Number 3.
Mine is original. It's by John Lennon. So This Is Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
In parentheses, War Is Over.
War is over.
And this is the reason why. Look, you want to debate who's better. Who's the better Beatle? John Lennon, Paul McCartney. Which maybe neither one of them is the best. Maybe it was George.
George was very good.
But
Ringo
well,
the man.
Well, the problem with George, though, is that he didn't have so many songs on the earlier records. So his hits with the Beatles, he had some great hits.
Right.
Just not as many, but that's because they were controlled to not, so he wouldn't have as many. And then his solo career was, I don't think, as big, but then you could argue maybe it wasn't as big because he didn't last. He wasn't around as long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my debate with the Lennon versus McCartney is simply look at their Christmas songs, people. Simply having a wonderful Christmas, and then John Lennon's going, so this is Christmas, and the whole part is war's over if you want it, and it's just a great song. And then they put it out, and the money went to stopping the war, and they did a whole "War's Over" campaign, which was huge around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's monumental. It is a legacy song. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time, is awful.
Well, and Paul is keeping all the money he's making off of that song.
Right.
That's like if $400,000 a year since 1980. That's millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. And he's what charities? Look, they probably give a lot of money to charity that we don't know about, but yeah. So I think that always, that's my debate. Who wrote the better Christmas song? Because I mean, if you argue that, well, they had better solo careers, or this one wrote better songs than the Beatles, then you could break it down. The tiebreaker becomes who wrote the better song. And also, when they had the debate where they were writing songs back and forth with each other, How Do You Sleep is probably one of the best battle rap songs of all time. If you ever get a chance to listen to How Do You Sleep, it's directed towards Paul, basically. How can you sleep with yourself?
Before we move on, I want to mention one of my favorite Beatle moments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
At the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony of Ringo Starr, they got Paul McCartney to do the induction speech.
Well, which is funny because Paul didn't even show up when the Beatles were inducted. But go ahead.
So he shows up for Ringo, and he starts off the entire speech by going, "You can't have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame without Ringo Starr. He is rock and roll."
Yeah. Peace and love, man. Peace
I loved
and
it.
love.
I loved it.
I love when Dana Carvey does his Paul McCartney. You know, we're just sitting down in Liverpool, you know, and playing guitar with a little pluckety pluck. You know, little flickety flew on the guitar, you know. So, anyways. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen that, have you seen the Adam Sandler special yet?
I have not. Oh, wait. You mean the stand-up?
Yeah, the 100% fresh.
I've seen most of it.
I've seen. See, what we do in the garage is when we're taking a break from the murder or whatever's happening in the case. Sometimes it just gets a little too much for me, so I like to jump over to YouTube and play a little funny clip. And there's some funny stuff on that Adam Sandler special. But I recommend that you watch the whole thing because he does this brilliant job of making you laugh, just being silly. It's just very goofy. You know, there's no serious joke there.
Right.
And then he does this tribute to Chris Farley, which will choke you up. But then at the end, he does this kind of like a love song to the audience. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's just masterful how he gets you just having a good time. And then he brings it back home with some nostalgia and some heartfelt stuff. And by the end, you're just like, this guy's a genius.
There's a good deal of music on there, too.
Well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's like he wrote all these little songs. I mean, some of the songs are 30 seconds long, but they're hilarious.
But there are several that I've seen that are like fall out of your chair funny.
Yeah, the one with Rob Schneider is one of the funniest things.
Who doesn't love Rob Schneider?
Yeah, I mean, Rob Schneider should get an award for playing this spaceman. So,
number 2 for me or number 3 for you?
I already did. So This Is Christmas.
Oh, that's right.
War's Over. John Lennon.
So number 2 for me, Please Come Home for Christmas by Eagles, released 1978.
I hate that song.
But originally by blues singer and pianist Charles Brown way back in 1960. I actually, to be honest with you, didn't know that somebody else wrote the song because Please Come Home for Christmas, the Eagles version, is older than I am. So
right.
I was unaware that somebody else had done this song. Your band,
yes,
one of your bands, because it's been a long, wonderful career for the captain, filled with several bands and different band names over the years. But one of your bands, what was it, probably 4 or 5 years ago now, covered this?
Yeah, so the idea was, okay, just picture this. You don't have a lot of time, right?
Is that a threat?
No, you don't have much time. Like you work during the week.
Oh, you're busy.
And then you play gigs on the weekend. And the drummer came up with this idea that we would put out a Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, first of all, he's not religious at all.
Right.
And so then, but for whatever,
he's actually the opposite of religious.
Right. He's actually an atheist, I believe. And so he wanted to do a Christmas song, and I thought, okay, well, that's fine, but we don't have a lot of time. And then it kind of just kept getting put off.
Right.
And then they kind of did their parts, and then they're like, okay, it's done. Now you finish everything else. So then I had to rush to finish it before Christmas. But it was one of those things where it was like, it was the Eagles song, or the song the Eagles covered. But it was one of those things where I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, like this is it's not really that funny of a song. And
oh, that's right. He wanted it to be kind of funny, didn't he? Like, didn't he? Or he thought it was funny?
No. I think like at first he was like, this is a good Christmas song. People will like it, and we'll do one every year. And he would constantly throughout the year play me other songs, like other Christmas songs that he thought was funny, like these little joke, kind of like Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer, but like a different version of that. And you're like,
right.
I just don't find this that funny, but I also find it strange that you're atheist and that you're really into Christmas songs. Like, we could just record anything.
Right.
And put it out as a gift, but you want to put out a Christmas song. And my whole thing was just like, who's going to run to go listen to this thing?
I
Yeah, I
didn't
mean-
run to listen to it, but I did listen to it. I thought it was real well done.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a good job, but that's I think why I hate the song, because it was like, oh, this we got to do this. I think we only ended up doing one Christmas song, and we never made it to the second year of the Christmas, or maybe we told them we're just not spending any time on this year.
Well, and I'm guessing here, but I'm guessing you probably had to do more work on that project, that single song, than some of the other guys.
Yeah, maybe just a little extra work. I mean, he had to put in a bunch of work. He had to record the drums, and he had to record. I think he recorded like the basic piano tracks and stuff, but he had to record the vocals.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's like when your buddy comes up with the idea that he's like, dude, I got a great idea for a business. And then he tells you the idea, and you're like, yeah, I don't think that's so great.
Right.
But then next thing you know, you're spending weeks and
You're
weeks on
spending
this.
every waking moment working on it.
Right. That number 2.
That was number 2 for me.
Mine is Christmas Time is Here,
Christmas Time is Here.
which you would hear in the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
Okay.
You know, the Christmas time is here.
See, I like when we do these because there are ones that you love and that you've always loved, and you kind of forget about them in the moment. Coming up with a list of 5 is not so difficult. It's coming up with a list of only 5 that's kind of difficult.
Well, and what's really great about this is the Vince Guaraldi trio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we all know as, well, you might not know Vince Guaraldi. I hope I'm saying that correct. But he is the Charlie Brown music guy.
Okay. Peanuts theme song.
Right. So what's really cool about Vince Guaraldi is back in the day, he's a piano player. Back in the day, to have a hit jazz song was enough. And Vince Guaraldi was one of these guys that he had a hit song. He took a pop song and he covered it as a jazz group, and it was a hit. And he was just happy touring. And most musicians, once they have a hit, especially if it's a cover, they don't want to keep playing that song.
Right.
They're done. Right? Vince was not that guy. Vince was actually, you want to hear the song twice a night? I'll play it twice a night.
He understood that this song made his career, and he would respectfully play it whenever his audience wanted to hear it.
Right. And that was it. That was it. Vince Guaraldi was, that's all I'm going to do. And I believe it was a TV special. I won't say what network, but there's going to be a TV special. And Vince knew a guy, and the guy said, hey, I have this cartoon that we're putting out for a Christmas special. And it's not going to be a big deal. We're going to play it once, and it's probably going to be done with. And don't have much money to score it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Charlie Brown Christmas special. And at this point, Charlie Brown wasn't Charlie Brown as we know it. So Vince Guaraldi went in with his trio. He composed all the stuff. And, now we would not know who Vince Guaraldi was if it wasn't for him playing on the Charlie Brown Christmas special and all the Charlie Brown stuff. And so Christmas Time is Here, which I think is very haunting. I used to make all my students learn a couple Christmas songs because I thought, here's your parents paying for guitar lessons all year long. Year 10, you can't buy them a gift probably.
Right.
So why not whip out your guitar and play, 30 seconds of a Christmas song.
Right.
But what was cool about some of these students was we would up the level a little bit. So if a kid could sing, they're playing a couple chords and singing a song, right? If the kid couldn't sing, then they're playing like almost like a finger style version, so they're playing the chords and the melody and everything like that. And Christmas, what was cool about teaching the Christmas songs to the kids is they would think, oh, Christmas songs, they're easy.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you started doing the finger style stuff, they started realizing, one, the guitar could be a very beautiful instrument by itself, but also this is difficult.
Right.
And but Christmas Time is Here is one of the first ones that I started teaching, and I just it's so freaking sad sounding. it's just Vince Guaraldi is just a genius. He doesn't give as much credit as he deserves.
Well, God bless Vince for playing to the audience, because I tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm all for seeing one of my favorite artists, favorite bands do some of their more obscure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But years ago, I've probably seen the Black Crowes in concert 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
Okay, but
great band.
I've always had a great time watching them, with the exception of one show. And it was an outdoor show. I believe there were no seats. So everybody's in like a lawn area, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's standing. I'm anticipating lots of drinking, lots of dancing, a really good time, right?
Some weed
It's in the middle of the summertime. The temperature was perfect.
for weed.
They came out on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a Saturday. And Chris Robinson, that's their singer, right? Chris Robinson.
Oh.
Which I'm a big Black Crowes fan, but Chris Robinson, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
he comes out and he goes,
He's a big fan of the show. He's going to be very disappointed.
who picked up our new album? And he said the name of it that just came out on Tuesday.
Right.
This is Saturday.
So even if you bought it on Tuesday, you don't know it yet.
He goes, I got something very special for all of you here tonight. We're going to play the album in its entirety from start to finish.
Right.
And I knew 0 songs that day, standing there in the lawn, ready to dance, knew nothing. No songs.
Yeah. I mean, I argue that there's this big debate constantly about original music cover band, right? And I always try to explain to some of the original guys I play with, are you playing in a town that people know you?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. Okay. Every 2 songs, every 3 songs,
You got to sprinkle them in.
play a cover.
Yeah.
And the thing too is some of the guys I play with blow the doors off some of these covers that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like once you hear him do it, you'll be questioning, did he write that song? Because that's how good he is at that song. And for whatever reason, it's like I think, I don't know, maybe it's just a artist thing, but it's like, look, but people have been doing covers, famous people that we know, like John Coltrane, for example. One of the reasons why he's famous is because he covered My Favorite Things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a good chance we might not know who he was if he didn't do that. Now, some hardcore jazz guy's going to say, "Oh, he did all this other stuff." Yes, but that's what brought him to the spotlight. So therefore, he could do this other stuff. So I think, for me as a musician, and I think maybe it's because I'm not, writing a song is just very small portion of what I do musically. But I think being an instrumentalist, like I've never cared about covers because I just thought like, well, it's your interpretation of it. So Hard to Handle was a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, well, even if you want to be more artsy fartsy or a band of integrity, do obscure covers. You know what I mean? Do something that maybe half the audience gets it or something. But I'll tell you what, one thing that I'm on, a kick that I'm on right now, this band I think they're called Main Squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
They have several, and I know they have original stuff too. I've not ventured into the original stuff yet because their covers are amazing. You should be able to, they're all over YouTube. I know that because that's my go-to after too many drinks, sitting on the couch. I just find the Main Squeeze on the YouTube. On the YouTube, on the box.
I like to call it the YouTubes.
The U-box.
Yeah. All right. So number one.
Number one.
Number one.
We've finally reached the pinnacle.
Everybody's like, this is the worst episode I've ever heard.
Well,
bah humbug to you, my friend.
This is to inspire you to drink a little too much eggnog, crank up the Christmas classics, and have a great time with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Here's one. This is my favorite. Father Christmas by the Kinks. A single from all the way back 1977. This is a great Christmas song. It's better, of course, after that eggnog that I was just talking about. But one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Mine is not the Michael Bublé version, but just the song in general, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, I think is, when you think of that title, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, it sounds like it's going to be this very uplifting song.
Mm-hmm.
And it just isn't. It's heart-wrenching, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's very...
Depending, obviously, how the person interprets the song, but most of the time, this is a heart-crushing, depressing song, I think.
Well, I've never heard the original, and I put in my notes here, it's from Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Sang it in 1944 in a musical called Meet Me in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that, but the Michael Bublé version does not, it doesn't choke me up or anything like that. Like it kind of lifts my spirits. So I totally dig that song as well, but I get what you're saying. There are versions of it that are almost a tearjerker.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any notable mentions?
Well, so I like anything Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Yeah, they're the ones that have morphed some holiday songs into almost heavy metal.
That was the Carol of the Bells, and that's one the more advanced guitar students could play. But what was so cool about that tune is you could pop it on, and even though you're just playing the riff just like the CD, it was awesome. And I had tons of fathers that would come back after Christmas break and say, he pulled out his guitar and played Carol of the Bells, and I almost cried, because he just said that, because it sounds like it's really hard to play, but it's actually very, very simple.
I also had, there's no one particular song, so it didn't make it on my list because we're here to pick one particular song, but Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's one that is a little more obscure, but not so much because we talked about the movie Christmas Vacation, but The Spirit of Christmas by Ray Charles. It's in Christmas Vacation.
Right.
And it's when Clark locks himself in the attic and he finds some old family films. Reel-to-reel films, and he's watching them in the attic, freezing, and he's kind of crying. He's choking up.
That's a sad part.
Yeah, but that's a great song. That's a great song.
Well, he's probably crying because it's such a great song. Well, come on, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Okay, so I do enjoy that song, but here's the problem with it. Just kind of like you have a problem with Please Come Home for Christmas, and it has little to do with Christmas at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's this Irish pub that I go to, and that song is played a ton at Christmas time off of the box, but there is a bartender in there that gets a big kick out of playing that song randomly throughout the year during his shift. So it is very common to be in there in April, June, July, August. His name's Jack, and he plays
Jackass.
He'll play it about 3 times on his Saturday shift.
Mm-hmm.
I believe every Saturday.
He just really likes Christmas. He has a tree up all year round. He's like the elf.
Well, and the place is always packed every Saturday. So the way that it works is as soon as you hear the start of Mariah Carey's Christmas song, the whole place goes, "Oh, come on, Jack.
Jack, you're a jackass." No, that was a notable mention. But also the Christmas Vacation theme song.
Christmas Vacation.
It's like real cheesy.
It sounds like Paul McCartney wrote it.
Oh, it's so bad. But here's one. I'm going to throw this one out at you, and you're going to go, what? When you hear the title, right?
Okay.
The song is called St. Patrick's Day, and it's by John Mayer.
Okay.
But if you ever listen to that song, it's a Christmas song.
It's a Christmas song.
But it's called St. Patrick's Day.
Gotcha.
But it's very strange. But it's like when you hear it, you just go, this is a freaking Christmas song. But yeah, the whole premise of the song is that if you start dating somebody before the holidays, that you're safe, right? Nobody wants to break up right before Christmas or right after Christmas. And then New Year's is around the corner, so we got to get through there. And basically, everybody's safe in a relationship till you get to St. Patrick's Day, and then after that, it's like, there's no big holiday coming up. So, but everything, but all the other, like, the elements of the song is very Christmassy, and so when I think of Christmas songs, I think of that song, but also, like, there's just something different. The month of Christmas, when you're a musician and you're traveling, especially when it's snowing, really bad weather. I've had trips that were supposed to take an hour to get to the gig that took 4 hours. So that'd be a song that I would throw on when I was driving my old Dodge Neon to the gigs.
Oh,
and
that sounds painful.
It was awful. And it was like one of those ones where they lowered the Dodge Neon to try to make it look cooler.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, and they had like really small tires on it.
They lowered it to make it more dangerous for you.
Yeah, it was awful. And I just put that on and go, well, I know it's called St. Patrick's Day, but it's a Christmas song.
What about Steve Perry of Journey, A Very Perry Christmas?
No.
I don't think that's a real thing. That's I was Googling Christmas music the other day, and A Very Perry Christmas came up. I didn't take the time to find out if it's real. It's got to be a hoax.
Yeah, but look, if you're looking for like good background Christmas music, I'm telling you, just download or go to Apple Music or wherever you get music, and just get the Vince Guaraldi record, the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
Okay.
You just put that on it. What's so nice about it is it's just, for the most part, it's instrumental music.
It's very chill. It's very chill background, perfect background music.
Well, but also because it's a little bit older, it kind of has a little nostalgia to it. It gives you that little more old-fashioned feel. Mm-hmm. So that would be if you're going to pop on a record this year, pop on that one when the family's over, drink some eggnog, drink some booze.
And the little ones appreciate it too, because it's, stuff that they're familiar with.
Yeah, they all start dancing like the Peanut characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish. Yeah. I wish.
All right. Well, hope everybody has a great holiday season. Have a safe travels, and we appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
That's right. Merry Christmas.